guys, welcome back to my channel. Apologies for the audio in this clip. The fan is on, but it is just simply too hot here. We've just entered another heat wave and I'm just dying a bit. It is just so hot, so the fan is staying on. I apologize, but I'm not sweating. Well, I am sweating, but I'm not going to sit here and sweat even more. This is a start to a new reading vlog slash a like books I've brought, because I just randomly, I've been so good at restraining myself and not buying books, because I have said before I'm moving at the end of this year overseas, so I've got to fit everything into like 2 suitcases. And I just can't keep buying physical books because I'm just not going to be able to bring them with me, which will make me super sad. But I did get myself 3 books, because one of them I was just so shocked to see that I had to buy it, and then the other 2 I've been really wanting and I found them for quite cheap, so they were the same price as it on my Kindle through Amazon. So I got the physical copies, and then 2 books I have actually brought for my friend as her birthday present. I don't think she'll watch this, slash this will be out after I see her for her birthday, but I just wanted to give you guys a little haul. I also did get some clothes, so maybe I'll start with that. Yeah. If you guys are not Australian, I don't know if you know what Kmart is, but in case you don't know what it is, it's basically just like heaven. It's just like this big store that we have, and everything is super cheap, but it's actually pretty good like quality. And so I've had quite a few like Kmart based clothes before, and I really love them, to be honest, and they're always kind of like things that I want but just at a cheaper price. And so I went in there today and I saw this cute little green top. It's like a nice like ribbed material, and I've been wanting something like this as like a cover up as it kind of gets cooler. Not that it's getting cooler, but when it does. Also, just like I could wear it on its own, and I just thought it was so cute and I could not pass it up. It was $20, so got that. And then I've also been looking for these kind of pants, and a lot of the ones I actually got a pair and they're in a brown color and they were like on sale, but they're also like $50. But they had these, they're just like black, I don't know if you guys are able to see, like a knit material, same kind of as the top, but like a really soft knit, and just like plain black flared pants. And I've also been looking for some of those for a while too that aren't like $120, so I'm super happy with those purchases. And then the book purchases, so let's start. We have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I've been wanting to read this book since it came out, and I just haven't yet. And then I was kind of debating whether I buy it as a Kindle copy or as a physical copy. And then Big W, which is another kind of shop like Kmart, if you guys don't know what it is. I went there today and oh my god, I was so impressed. Same with my QBD as well. So many good books, and so many books I've been wanting to read are at QBD, and also Big W, and Big W's books are really cheap, like $12, $16, which is really cheap for books here in Australia. Normally a book just like this would be around like $22 to $30 depending on the store, but they had this in stock. They had The House in the Cerulean Sea in stock as well, and this, and so I already have The House in the Cerulean Sea, but I've been wanting to read this, and it was $12, so I was like, hello, yes, you're coming with me. So I'm really excited to read that book. And then this is one that is a present. So this is the Heartstopper. Let me blur my face. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like this, it's a special edition of the Heartstopper series, and each book comes in a different color. So this is Heartstopper, the normal copy, which I have, and then this is the special edition of the first one, which is just so beautiful. I love this so much. And the purple one, which is for book 4, well, volume 4, is so stunning. They did only have volume 1 at Big W, which I was so shocked about because I was going to get my friend the yearbook, and then I saw they had this and it was only $18 compared to $30 that it was at QVD. So I was like, bargain, I will be getting that. And it's just so beautiful. My friend doesn't have any of the Heartstopper books, but she loves it, adores the show, like same as me. And so I really wanted to get her this for her birthday, which I'm super excited for her to have. And then I don't have it with me yet. I'm not sure when it will arrive, but when it does, I'll show it to you. Probably won't be for a while though. But the collector's edition of Red, White and Royal Blue, which is the blue cover, that I also got for her birthday, and I'm super excited to see it, but for her to have it because we both love that book so much as well. And the blue cover, I was debating between the blue or which is the US or the UK edition, but the collector's edition just looked nicer as an overall, and I think she'd prefer it. But I'm super excited for that to arrive because I don't have a collector's edition of anything, and neither does she. And even though this isn't for me, it will be nice to see, but I'm super excited for her to have these two like special edition, collector edition novels that she loves so much. And then onto the books that I brought for me. I have two more. So this is one I've been wanting to read for a while, and again was debating between getting the ebook version or the physical version, especially for this because it is such a big book. But then they had this for $14, and again I was like, ugh, like that's the same price as the ebook version. So I got it in physical copy, and that is The Priori of the Orange Tree. I don't know if it's Priori or Prairie, but I've been calling it the Priori in my head, and I think I may be wrong. But I have been wanting to read this book for a while, and it's a big one, and like the words are pretty small. I really love the hardcover of this book, but I couldn't find any in the bookstores. And the second book, well, I think it's the prequel to this book, but can be read as a standalone to this book, has just released as well, and they did have that at Big W, and I was so tempted to get it, but it's even bigger than this book, and I was like, I simply don't have the space for that, but I might get it. I need to read this first. But yes, this is a very popular book, I think, and it is extremely queer. It is sapphic, it is gay, it is everything, which, hello, I love that in a fantasy book that is super popular as well. I think that's amazing, and I can't wait to read it. I'll definitely be doing a video on it. It sounds really interesting. The people I've watched that have read it have really enjoyed it, and I think I would too. It's dragons and the sapphics. I mean, what more could you want, really? And then I did have the plan to buy The Priori, but I did not plan to buy this book. But then I saw it and I was like, even though it was expensive, I was like, it's coming with me. So A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Fox Meadows has been on my list of books I really want to read this year, and I was just planning on buying it as an ebook because I had never seen it in any of our bookstores up here. And then I saw it and I was like, and it was the last one left, and I was like, okay, I'm buying it. So I did buy it. It is beautiful. Look at that cover. Look at the side. I think it's stunning. It was really expensive. It was like $35, but it's fine because I've been wanting this book for a while and was going to get the ebook version anyway, but I found it, so I'm going to get it like this, and I can't wait to read this as well. This is one I will be doing a reading vlog on, same with The Priori of the Orange Tree. Like, these are all books I've had on my list to buy / that I wanted to read this year. So I'm super happy with all of these purchases. It does just mean I need to be a bit more conscious going forward on, on what I buy, but that's okay. It was worth it. So those are the purchases, the book purchases that I have made in the span of the past few days that I'm very excited for. And then I also want to give you guys a reading update. So I did finish Never Have I Ever. It's the third book in the Never Have I Ever series by Willow Dixon. Had a Bromance, something like that. and this is between Matt and Jax, and this is a best friends to lovers book, which we have seen Matt and Jax in the 2 other books in this series as well. Matt is one of the roommates that we're following in this series. Each book is based on a different roommate, and I really enjoyed it. It was really cute. It was a good friends to lovers. I think Matt and Jax were a good example of friends that had that very easy chemistry and connection. I did really enjoy seeing them on screen. It was a bit too much smut for my liking. I was skipping over the smut sections towards the end, but other than that it was pretty cute, so I still gave it a 4 stars. Like, it was still good. Willow Dixon's books just do have a bit of smut in them, which again is fine. I just don't really want it every like chapter. But I did really enjoy seeing the other roommates in these books as well, like the other couples, and then also getting to see Eli, who I assume will be the next book. No, he definitely is the next book actually, there's no assuming that he is. And getting to know him a bit more as well, and then also seeing Jax and Matt and their relationship just kind of form very easily. And then also, you know, the bisexuality awakening for Matt as well, because Jax is gay, and just what it's like to be in sport, because out of the books that we have, this one is more sports based around baseball, because Matt and Jax are both on the baseball team, and we have Jax who absolutely loves it, and then we have Matt who kind of has only felt that pressure from his father to be on the team and be good without him really enjoying it. So kind of that trope, and then we see them work through that, and then we see the epilogue, and it was super cute. It was just like a good, fun, easy read. I liked Matt and Jax's characters. I liked them as a couple. I liked seeing the other friends. Probably not my favorite in this series. My favorite is still the first book, but it was still a good time. And then I also read Law and Lust. I forget who this is by, but I feel like you guys may have read this. These books came out a while ago, and I remember I think I tried to read the 3rd one and I didn't finish it. But this is Law and Lust by Carla Nicole, and there's 3 books in this series. First one I just finished. The second one is a continuation of the same couple from the first one, which I don't know if I'll read because I kind of get bored with the same couple. And then the 3rd one features a different main character. So the first one was really good. Law and Lust is a vampire based series, and in this in the first book we're following Haruka. I know I'm butchering that Japanese pronunciation so badly, I'm so sorry. Haruka and Nico. And so Haruka, he is a Japanese vampire and he is pure blood, and then we have Nico, who is Italian. Yeah, he's from Milan. An Italian Japanese, not Italian. Oh yeah, he's Italian Japanese. I think he's both. He's Italian, okay. And he's also a pure blood, and so I really like the actual mythology of vampires in this series and how they were set up. So you have like different generation based vampires, and then you have pure blood vampires, which means that their line has not been mixed with humans at all, and they're really rare. There's like 1,000 left on the planet. And then there goes like 1st generation, 2nd, 3rd generation vampires, and that is based on how much their kind of line is mixed with humans as well as vampires, which I thought was really interesting. And then also the side effects of being a 1st, 2nd or 3rd generation vampire very much deteriorate compared to what a pure blood vampire is. And so I really enjoyed that mythology. And then there's a bit of a mystery element of the Great Vanishing that happened hundreds of years ago, where a bunch of pure blood keep my words mixed up, vanished and no one knows what happened. And so that's kind of like semi in this book. I think it's more in the 2nd book, which I thought was really interesting as well. And so basically we're following Haruka as he is in England, and there he meets Nico, because Nico and him need to go and oversee a ceremony for first gen, I think they were, vampires who were trying to mate. And also the mating in this book was interesting as well. It wasn't like you find a mate and that's it. There are all these different factors that contribute to if a mating will actually take, and generally it takes 4 times for a couple to actually mate successfully, which I thought was really interesting. And that is kind of the premise of this as well. So Law and Lust is a book that Haruka's family have worked on, and it's all around mating and what successful matings look like, all the different case studies in one book. And that is what Nico and Haruka are working on together. And then basically Haruka, he ends up then feeding from Nico because he was only drinking from blood bags. And then him and Nico's friendship really evolves, which I really enjoyed seeing. We got to see them meet and then see them learn to trust each other and actually be really good friends. And for Haruka, who's had a really bad experience in his life, same with Nico with other vampires, seeing them let their guard down and be safe and comfortable with each other, and then seeing their attraction kind of build towards each other as well, and then them as a bit more of a couple, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was dragged out, but I think if you don't like more prolonged relationships, you probably wouldn't enjoy it. But I really enjoyed it because I liked that build up of friendship to then a bit more to then a relationship. And so I thought it was paced well. They were good characters, they were developed well, they both kind of had their own background, their own distinct personalities. I like to see the politics and hierarchy of what the vampire system looks like. I like the different settings, the descriptions are really beautiful, I like the writing. So overall it was a good book, and I read this in like one night as well. So I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't quite a 5 stars, it's not like my favourite fantasy based book I've read, but I did really enjoy it. I did really think it was cool, and also the cover art for these books is stunning. Like, I love the cover art. But this week is also super exciting because Shadow and Bone season 2 comes out, which oh, I can't wait to see Wylan. I just can't wait to see him. I can't wait to see the whole cast, but more specifically the crows is what I'm excited for. And then in sadder news, The Last of Us, the finale, happened last night, and I'm still emotionally not okay from it. From the last 2 episodes, really, you guys. If you guys have watched it, let me know your thoughts down below. But tears. Just tears for the last 2 episodes, essentially. For Ellie, for Joel, especially in this finale episode. Like, I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't watched it and plan on watching it, but I completely understand why Joel did what he did, and like the acting from Pedro and from Bella was so phenomenal that I just felt every aspect of what they were trying to portray. And I'm literally getting teary thinking about it, but it was just perfection. This whole series has truly been one of my favorite TV shows, and it's just been done so well. Like, well is not a good enough description for it. Like, so fantastically. Truly every episode I have loved. It's just been such a story, and just told by incredible actors and actresses who really portray those characters and the feelings and the emotions of what they're going through so well. And I can't wait for season 2. I know it probably won't be out for like 1 or 2 years, which is devastating, but I will be here when season 2 drops. I will be front and center waiting for it. Good morning, guys. It is the next day, and I did in fact finish Mafia Target last night, and it was really good. I really enjoyed the ending. There was a bit of a tension point there which did kind of have to work on being resolved over a few months, which I enjoyed that aspect of it as well. I gave it a 4 stars. It was really good. I really enjoyed them as a couple. I enjoyed the Mafia aspect of it. I won't read any of the other books or the next book coming out because they're all straight books, so not for me. But if you guys are into Mafia, regardless of the romantic aspect, I would recommend the author for Mafia based books because I did actually really enjoy it. It wasn't too dark, it was just dark enough, it was still really cute. The Mafia aspect of it was definitely, I feel like, authentic Mafia. Like, you could tell the language and the culture of it was well researched. It didn't kind of feel like uneducated takes on Mafia, if that makes sense. So overall, really enjoyed it. And then this morning I have started Tequila Kisses by Ashleigh, which I'm really enjoying, and this is between Ledger and Spencer, I believe. Let me double check. Sterling, not Spencer. Ledger and Sterling. So Ledger is best friends with Abby, and then Sterling is Abby's brother. And Ledger and Sterling have kind of always been attracted to each other since Abby and Ledge became best friends. And then one drunken night they end up having a little hookup, and it's fantastic for both of them, but it's kind of awkward because Abby and Sterling had made a pact of not dating each other's friends because they're within the same circle of friends, so it just gets messy. And then Ledger and Abby end up going on holiday to Sicily in Italy for a month, but Abby has to go to Rome for a week because she ends up getting the internship she wanted. Ends up coming out to Sicily to not look after, but just to be there with Ledger so he's not alone. And they're kind of at like this awkward stage of like not wanting to acknowledge each other after sleeping with each other. But now I've just gotten to the bit where they in fact indeed act on the tension between them in a different way, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really funny. I really like Ledger as a character. He's really funny. I'm enjoying Sterling as well. I think they're going to be very cute together, and their banter already has just been really fun. And so this book I am enjoying a lot actually, and I can't wait to continue reading it. But that is just a little update for you guys. Finished Mafia Target and reading Tequila Kisses, and then I'll probably read a bit of that tonight, hopefully, and then tomorrow Riley Hart's new book In the Verse podcast comes out, which I'm super excited for. But those two books will probably be the focus of this week's readings, just because I do work a few nights this week, which makes it a bit harder to read at night when I normally do. But those two will be the two books I'm reading, which is exciting because I'm enjoying this one a lot, and I'm sure I'll enjoy Riley Hart's because it is like kind of like distrust to lovers a little bit, which is super exciting. It's Parker's book, I believe. I think so. I'll talk to you guys more about it tomorrow anyway, but that's all for now. I am just going to do some uni work and then go to work, and then I have uni tomorrow, and then I have work tomorrow night. So I probably won't get to speak to you guys until about Thursday, but just know I'm really enjoying Tequila Kisses, and I will no doubt enjoy Riley Hart's new book as always. And that's the update for now. I'll talk to you guys at a later date. Hi guys. Oh, do you see her? Hi Chip. Oh, there she is. She's going down for a nap. Hi guys. It has been a minute since I spoke to you last. I thought I would give you guys a big update, and then I'll end this reading vlog here. So I wanted to give you guys an update on Shadow and Bone. I have finished watching it, and I thought I'd give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. Now, I feel like I'm not as equipped to discuss Shadow and Bone aspect of it as I am about the Six of Crows aspect of it, because I have read the Shadow and Bone series, however, a long time ago, and I don't remember too much from it. It's not my favorite of Leigh's books, but Six of Crows duology I have read multiple times and absolutely adore. And so obviously TV shows are not going to be exact to the books, and Leigh also said herself it's going to be different from the books, which it definitely has been. And I have mixed feelings. I really enjoyed the show though. Like, I have to say, separate from the books, separate from like what I would like to happen, I still really enjoyed the show. I watched it all in 2 nights when I could, and it was still a really fun time. The first season I loved, and this season I also really enjoyed. I loved the Six of Crows aspect of it, obviously, and that we got to see more of them. So overall, as like a TV show, separate from the books, it's still really enjoyable. It's still really fun. I love the cast so much that I honestly, as much as I love the books, I think the cast was so well kind of addressed for all of the characters, and that all of the actors and actresses that play these characters are just so amazing, and I love them so much that even if it has its flaws, I still love it and enjoyed it because of them. Like, they really brought it to life, in my opinion, and I really think they did a great job. I love the production. I really enjoyed the storyline, actually. I thought it was going to be difficult to get the Six of Crows aspect in there, and seeing how they came to help the Shadow and Bone cast, because if you guys haven't read the books, there's no crossover between the two. Like, Shadow and Bone exists within the Grishaverse, but that's its own story, and then the Six of Crows duology again exists within the Grishaverse, but is a completely separate story from Shadow and Bone. The characters, there's not an overlay of characters in the books at all, whereas in the show it's very much mixed. And as much as I personally would have absolutely adored to have them separate, because I do think they are kind of separate stories, I also think they did a good job at still bringing them together in a way that makes sense and wasn't too much like, what the fuck, that makes zero sense for them to be there. So I'll credit them for that. I don't want to say too much in case you guys haven't watched it and you want to. I don't want to spoil it for you at all, but if I do have a spoiler, I apologise. I will put a spoiler warning. So the second season takes place after the first season, obviously, but in the second season we are following our crows trying to help the Shadow and Bone cast, trying to help Alina and Mal, and the crossover is them aiding in getting the amplifiers to her and tracking down things. So that's kind of the crow's role in the second season, and then the main focus is more the Shadow and Bone aspect of the books. But I also know, I believe a few of the things that did happen in the Shadow and Bone period of it definitely didn't happen in the books. Like, I don't remember some of the things that happened. I'm gonna go into spoilers now, so please skip. But like, I don't remember Mal dying at the end, even though he got brought back to life. I don't remember that happening. I don't think Alina ended up with the Darkling's power at the end. I don't believe, I think Alina and Mal got together but stayed together, whereas I think they broke up in the show. And I think there was a bit more hostility between Nikolai, Alina and Mal, whereas they were like pretty good friends in the show from what I'm remembering. Like I said, I feel like I'm probably not the best at discussing the Shadow and Bone aspect because I've read the books but a long time ago, and so I picked up those differences personally. I remember the link between Alina and the Darkling. I remember that aspect. I don't remember Mal being the Phoenix, but again, I could be just not remembering things, but I wasn't sure if that was an addition separate from the book or not. But the Shadow and Bone aspect I did enjoy, and I liked the storyline as it kind of progressed and ended with Alina getting that power, because I think it'll be interesting to see which kind of way she takes that power, whether it kind of consumes her to the point of going down more of a dark path or whether she uses it for the good. I think will be an interesting kind of story and plot line for the 3rd season. If they get renewed, I hope they do, please, because even though it has its flaws as like all shows do, I still absolutely loved it and want a 3rd season like ASAP. And then obviously the Six of Crows aspect is nothing to do with the books. In the books, the Six of Crows storyline is a heist-based storyline, and even though we had mentions towards the end, and the Judapalm, I'm definitely butchering that, but the drug that is kind of the main focus for the Six of Crows duology got mentioned towards the end, and that is where the heist aspect, I believe, will come in the 3rd season. But in the 2nd season, they're mainly aiding Alina and Mal in finding amplifiers and stuff like that, which is still fun to see because we got to see them, sorry my washing is going off, we got to see them as an interactive group and all together, which made me so happy. I think the Crows are casted perfectly. They've all done such a good job at being their characters, like they just are their characters. Like Freddie, who plays Kaz, he gave such an incredible performance of Kaz. It was so book Kaz. It's exactly how I've imagined him. And then obviously we have Kit, who plays Jesper, and he plays him perfectly. We have Amita, who plays Nej, perfection. We have Danielle, who plays Nina, and she's exactly what I pictured Nina to be. And then of course we got Wylan, which is played by Jack, and he just did such a good job of being that like clueless but funny and cute Wylan. And so I think the Crows casting was done super well, and they all match their characters so well, and also in real life as well. And I've loved watching their interviews. And so even though it is different from the books, and I would have much preferred the book Six of Crows storyline and plotline, I still appreciate getting to see them work together, and a bit of that heisty, how do we make this work, did occur, which I enjoyed. And then the little nuggets for the actual book Six of Crows was there towards the end, which I appreciated. And I believe, I don't know if it's true or not, but there might be a Six of Crows spin-off, which if there was, my life would be complete, truly. But if not, I think it would be in the 3rd season, and I hope there's a bigger emphasis on that than the Shadow and Bone aspect, and that would really make my life truly wonderful. And then obviously we had the relationship aspects of the Six of Crows, because in Shadow and Bone you have Alina and Mal, which I don't really care for too much, sorry if you do. Not really like a fan favourite of mine. I don't care too much for their relationship. Like, I love Jessie and Archie as people, and I love their character. Well, I don't really like, it's not that I don't like Mal, I just don't really have an interest in him as a character too much. And I was kind of the same in the book. I was a bit indifferent to Mal as one of the main characters, and I think Archie does a great job with Mal, and I like him more on the show than in the books though. I'm sorry, this review is literally all over the place, but I'm just thinking as like thoughts are coming to me as I was watching it. And so the relationship between them wasn't something I was like super invested in, so I wasn't like too heartbroken when it like didn't end up too well. But then the Six of Crows aspect of it, we have Inej and Kaz, which I think was done very well in the 2nd season, like that kind of like slow burn of like wanting each other, but there are definitely blocks and walls in the way of that happening. And then my favourite is obviously Wylan and Jesper. They're my favourites in the book, and in the show I was a bit disappointed that they kind of had like a somewhat established relationship, because they had hooked up and then kind of went their separate ways, and then they meet again when Wylan comes in as the Demolition Man, and I was kind of sad about that. Like in the book they don't know each other, and so we get them meeting. I'm sorry, my washing machine is so loud. My cat, she's asleep. I don't know if you can see her. There she is. She's asleep, so I don't want to shut the door on her. But in the books they don't know each other, and then we get to see them meet, and there's kind of this like dislike between them, and we get to see them really break down barriers and get to see them break down each other's perceptions that they had throughout 2 books, because they don't get together until the 2nd book towards the end, and it's very brief, like it's 1 kiss and that's what we get. And I loved it so much in the book. Like, it was just one of my favorite slow burns, one of my favorite just getting to see every scene that they had, and how they would just drop little one-liners of how they do actually like each other, and it was so special in the book. And then in the show, it happened too fast for me, but then at the same time, they have such good chemistry that it was still super cute. Like, I'll take it, but the book version of how they get together is far more my favorite slow burn. But then at the same time, like I said, like, we have Kit and Jack who play them, and they have really great chemistry together, and so even though it happened faster than I would have wanted, it was still really fun and cute to see them, and I still like screamed every time they were on screen. And especially because we did get a few more kisses and a few more like romantic based scenes in the show than we do in the book, I still appreciated it. I just wish it was more drawn out, because it kind of makes it hard for one of the things that happens in the book that leads to them having a romantic moment. I don't know how they're quite gonna kind of play that into the show if this character does come into it. So I really enjoyed it. Oh god, sorry. I really enjoyed it overall. I still really loved seeing the crows. I think the cast has great chemistry together, so they really pulled it off well. I still like the Shadow and Bone storyline. I thought it was interesting. It was fun to watch. I liked it. I liked Nikolai. I love Alina. And I did enjoy the discussions as well around, it was kind of like not super in your face, it was more subtle, but the discussions around men in power and the women that it impacts, because we had Janya, we had Alina, and we had Zoya, who are all characters that were kind of manipulated and taken advantage of by the Darkling, by Kerrigan. And when they all kind of came together to watch his, again it's a spoiler, but to watch his body burn, it was really powerful to see the 3 women together and supporting each other when they had gone through so much individually by him. And I liked that kind of relatability I think a lot of women have in the real world, in that, you know, misuse of power by men and the impacts that has had on women. And then also with Jenya, the talks about the king, who very much was taking advantage and saying women, and how she killed him. Like, that storyline I think was also really powerful. And so those kind of more realistic undertones that were in it, I very much appreciated. And same with like when you look at the Grisha and you see the, I guess, comparison to how they have been outcast and hunted and illegal, and how you can very much compare that to real life issues such as race, sexuality and gender. And I really like those undertones that are brought in to the story, but in a more fantasy based way in comparison. So overall, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I really hope it gets picked up for a 3rd season. Even more, I would love if we got a Six of Crows spin-off. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I know a lot of people were quite mad about it and didn't enjoy it, but it's different from the books, and like that's going to happen with TV shows, and Leigh herself has said that. So I just kind of took it for what it was instead of comparing to the books. Obviously, like the Six of Crows aspect, which I love a lot more, was kind of hard not to compare, but like I said, I still think they made it work with the crows being a part of the storyline without it being the Six of Crows storyline, and it still worked well and still made like sense. So I'll take it. I enjoyed it, I loved it, and I do hope it gets picked up again. So that is Shadow and Bone. loved. And then what I have been reading. So I spoke to you guys and said I was reading Tequila Kisses by Ashleigh. Spoke a bit about that, and I have finished that, and I gave it a 4 stars. It's like a 3.5, 4. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was just kind of like very low angst, like there was no big blow up or anything. Best friends, brother to lovers, and it happened kind of quick, but it was still really cute and really sweet, and I enjoyed them as characters. Oh, there's my washing. She's done now. That was so weird, I'm sorry. And so we got them kind of more quickly, but then the epilogue was years later, and I really enjoyed that and seeing where they were later. So it was just enjoyable, low angst to read. And then I have started reading The Romantic by Hart. Almost finished that as well. And so this is the second book in the Verse podcast series. Yeah, for some reason that sounded weird when I said it. And this is Parker and Elliot's story, which we met Parker in the first book. He's one of the 4 Verse guys, and then we met Elliot a bit in the first book as well. And this took a turn that I didn't expect, actually. I thought it was going to be a bit like dislike to lovers, because that's kind of what we saw in the first book, but it starts off where we see how Parker and Elliot met, which was super cute, and then it goes to them being in Vegas, and then they actually end up getting drunk married to each other, which I was not expecting at all. Maybe it's in the blurb and I just didn't read the blurb, but I wasn't expecting it. And so they get drunk married, which is kind of a big deal because Elliot hasn't ever wanted a relationship, and then Parker's only really ever wanted the relationship, but he wants like only to get married once and to have a husband who loves him and he loves a lot. And so it's kind of just like the opposite of what both of them would have wanted. But then because of their families, they don't want to say that it was just a drunk mistake. And so they kind of like be then fake husbands. Like they're really married, but they try and just be fake husbands in front of the people they love. But then along the way, they obviously are kind of gaining feelings for each other. And it is really cute. It is good. I like Parker. I like Elliot. I really enjoy them as characters. And I think together they're also really cute. And obviously I think they'll end up, you know, just keeping their real marriage, which will be fun. And then I'm almost at like, I think 70% of that, 80%. So almost finished, and it is really cute and I do enjoy it. It'll probably, again, be like a 4 stars. Oh, that's the dog going off. It's not like, again, not like my favorite book or anything, but it's just like a light-hearted, fun kind of read that I've really enjoyed. And again, I'm confused. I feel like Corbin and Marcus will be together, but there's 4 books. So I don't know. If you guys have read it, let me know. Am I crazy? I feel like Marcus and Corbin are going to be the friends to lovers story, but then there is still another 2 books to go and there's 4 of them. So I feel like maybe they won't. And they'll each individually have their own story, but I feel like they will. So I don't know. I guess maybe towards the end I'll see a bit more. But that is where I'm currently at. I will finish that soon. Like I said, probably give it a 4 stars. It's fun, it's cute, would recommend. And then I want to read a fantasy books next, because I've been reading romance-based books, which I love, but I'm in the mood for a fantasy, and I did see one that I want to give a go. So I'm gonna try that. That is everything that I've been reading, been watching, and I'll talk to you guys at a later date when I finished it, probably tonight or tomorrow, to be honest. I might even just end this reading vlog here, because I can tell you it'll be a 4 stars. I don't know. If you don't see me again, thank you for watching, thank you for being here. I appreciate it a lot. Hope you all have a great day and great night. But if you do see me again, discard that. Actually, don't discard that. Please still have a great day and great night, and I'll just see you soon.